Good evening. Welcome once again to my study at home, and thank you for welcoming me into your home as we reflect on thoughts, ideas, attitudes, and all sorts of things that God sometimes uses words as a catalyst for us to engage in our own lives. So some of you may remember and have been following that last week it was my turn to have the privilege of offering the midday prayers on a daily basis. What you don't know is about something that happened on the Sunday while I was recording, and it's something that made me distressingly aware how easily basic kindness can slip through the cracks of frustration and stress and so on before I'm even aware of it happening. What happened was that as I was attempting to record this particular prayer, and I had as an image the flowers that are growing near the main gate of the house, I was recording it for the umpteenth time, having had all sorts of interruptions between cars and people walking past with their dogs, and so my frustration levels were steadily overheating beneath the surface. And as I was once again endeavoring to record, an elderly man came begging at the gate for food. So once again the recording was null and void. But to my shame, I was rather abrupt and irritated with the man. And then God stopped me, literally, where I was, with a kind of spiritual whiplash and ouch. Really, it would cost me nothing just to be kind and respectful to this man who probably constantly experiences rudeness and dismissiveness. The giving of food, which I did do, was really relatively small in comparison with what I learnt in terms of my own attitude adjustment by the Holy Spirit, which was far more soul-feeding to me than anything I could give him, because it put things back into their proper perspective. It seems to me that the quality, the virtue of kindness is often underrated and sometimes even disparaged as being weak or soft-hearted. There's a story about kindness that William V. Coleman wrote in his book called Prayer Talk, Casual Conversations with God. Slightly adapted the story, but perhaps it will help us to inquire more thoughtfully into what we mean by kindness. One early summer's morning, a young mother was digging in the garden when she discovered a rather dirty bottle, but the shape of it was quite pretty, and so she decided to clean it and keep it rather than putting it into the recycling bin. What she didn't know is that it was magical. And as she was cleaning the bottle, a voice said, "Ask for one wish and it will be granted to you." And so she replied without even missing a beat, "May I always be kind." "Granted," said the voice. Now during the rest of the day, this is some of what this woman did. She confronted her mom-in-law about her meddling. She punished her children for behaving atrociously. She refused to engage in gossip with her neighbor about a mutual friend. And she cooked her husband's favorite meal for dinner that night. So what happened? Did her wish to be kind always not come true, or only partially true? Or, if we accept that her wish did come true, do we need to re-examine our understanding of kindness? if we tritely equate kindness with being nice or saccharine sweet, then it is likely that we are doing kindness a disservice, and ourselves too. We're making it featherweight, when in fact it is heavyweight. What's interesting to note is that pretty universally, kindness is not a temperament with which we're born, and even the Christian Bible notes this. It's a learnt quality which is a volitional choice, and it's not based on emotion. So kindness presupposes a good dollop of humility and has a prerequisite of a teachable heart. There are greater depths and stratifications to kindness than is immediately apparent. And even if all we did was to explore the Christian Bible and the references to God and kindness, we'd be amazed at the very telling pairings and value given. The pairings of love and kindness, mercy and kindness, compassion and kindness, and so on. What is sharply clear is that for God, kindness is not something occasional, but very much a routine norm. The question arises, how true is this for me, for you? I suspect that the Holy Spirit alone can give us this fruit of kindness as a sustained norm in our lives. Did you know that there's an organization called Life Vest inside? Their mission is to spread and promote gratuitous kindness. In any story of genuine kindness, you'll notice some common elements. For example, here are just a few of them. That within the kindness there is a sense of respect for self, for the other. In cases of people of faith, there's a respect for God as well. There's courtesy and honesty, sincerity, and a noteworthy level of altruism. To top it all off, God is just so amazing. God has given us an inbuilt, almost health barometer as to whether our kindness is sincere and genuine. This is not why we would choose to act kindly, by the way, but just an interesting thing to note, that there are benefits physiologically for both the receiver and the giver of kindness. The receiver of kindness, at the very least, experiences an increase in serotonin levels, which is our sense of well-being, of that feeling of happiness. For the giver, kindness gratuitously, sincerely, and respectfully given to others decreases the stress hormone of cortisol, increases the hormone of oxytocin, and with that increase, the benefits to our hearts are immeasurable because it reduces our stress levels considerably. So I've been wondering, what is just one generic kindness that all of humanity could join in doing right now that would be profoundly meaningful? Hollard have just launched an initiative which, if you Google it, you will find it under the title of Another Kind of Language. Some people have called it, certainly when I was listening to the radio, they've called it a new official language. But let's go with what Hollard's called it, another kind of language. And on that, it carries 8 suggestions of various eye, head, and shoulder movements to give a more extended and meaningful expression to our words when most of our face is covered over by a mask. So for example, when saying thank you, not only using our voice and words to say thank you, but to dip our head, a slight nod, so it would become thank you. I mean, if we were to take some of these suggestions and incorporate them into a new form of languaging, isn't that also a form of kindness to one another, so that we can reconnect meaningfully? In this past week, somebody sent me some meaningful Twitter conversation exchanges, and in one of the comments, Marianne Williamson wrote the following, and I quote, "Awful things come from out of the blue sometimes, but so do miracles. Let's believe in them. In the midst of all the devolutionary trends, let's remember all the evolutionary possibilities. If nothing else, let's all be kinder this week." And then I came across a quote by Philo of Alexander, and believe it or not, this quote was written sometime between 25 BCE and 50 CE, and it's so applicable for us today. He wrote, "Be kind. Everyone you meet is fighting a great battle." Let's all be kinder. Let's be kinder to God, to ourselves, to others. God bless you and keep you in the palm of God's hand. Good night.